Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to this reading. This is going to be kind of like a general love reading since I've been getting a lot of messages relating love and romance. I've also been getting quite a few clients with that. So, speaking of which, if you want to book a reading, my website is linked in the description box. But let's see what's coming up for love for those that need to hear it right now. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Two of Swords. It's called Schizophrenia on this deck. We have Going with the Flow, which is the Ace of Cups. Sharing, which is the Queen of Wands. Nine of Wands, Exhaustion. And then the Moon, Past Lives. Alright, so somebody, this could be you or someone that you're dealing with, is feeling like they're being pulled in two different directions. Like they're being either two different people, like one person in the relationship, one person outside of the relationship, but they're tired of they're feeling like it's exhausting. Like it's exhausting to keep saving face. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they feel like it's whoever this is. Again, you or someone you're dealing with. They feel like it's exhausting to keep keeping the peace and then not voicing their opinion or speaking their truth because they don't want to rock the boat or they don't want to cause a problem, cause a fight. And then there's somebody who's also feeling like they are just they're if they're going with the flow, they're just seeing where this relationship goes. Like they're not really fully invested. They still have some hidden stuff that needs to be shared, some emotions that are not being voiced, okay? They feel a certain way and they're not saying that they feel a certain way. Then there's somebody who's just tired of dealing with a person who is like that. They're tired of dealing with a person who just won't let their emotions free. They won't speak up. They won't talk about their emotions. They feel like they're dealing with someone who's just a robot or someone who's they feel like they're dealing with someone who's playing pretend. That's what's going on here. There is karmic ties, and that's why the past lives card is here. But, I mean, as an evolutionary astrologer, I'm going to tell you right now, I firmly believe that we have karmic ties with everyone, okay? I think you're destined to meet everyone that you meet. So it's not really necessarily so much of a, am I destined to be with this person? You're destined to be with everyone that you're with. But shadows of the past are being healed. I also feel like there's somebody here who's denying the truth of another person. They're sharing too much of themselves. They're giving too much of themselves. It's going to end up draining you if that's you. The other person is a vampire archetype. You know, I might pull the archetype cards. Let me get that. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. What archetypes are playing out in this dynamic, in this relationship? What archetypes are playing out? Okay, there's one. Archetype. Oh. There we go. Now the child is coming up, and that is an archetype that we all have within us, okay? The 4 basic survival archetypes. The child, the saboteur, the victim, and the prostitute. So I'm not surprised to see that, but it's the divine child. Okay. We have the student, the queen. Oh, I almost wanted to pull her in the reverse there. And the exorcist. Bottom of the deck, the healer. So there is, on a deeper level, this relationship is being healed because as a whole it's being healed. You're being healed. They're being healed. So that's good. I like to see that. Well, if one of you is the healer, that would also make sense that one of you is the exorcist. One of you is playing one of these and the other one's playing another one, okay? So just take it however it resonates. The light side of the divine child, innocence, purity, and redemption, suggests a special connection with the divine. The shadow side of that is an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. Student, humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning, but there's also arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge and unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. Try to get all these in the camera here. Queen radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others, becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. The queen in her shadow side, the queen archetype, is literally like the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland, okay? Off with her head. Think about it that way. Because the shadow, remember we talked about shadow sides are coming up. So really we're more focusing on the shadow side of these archetypes. Then lastly you have the Exorcist. Freeing yourself and others from destructive impulses, fear of facing your own demons. Now, the shadow side of the student is destructive knowledge specifically. So if destructive knowledge is being highlighted here, then one person is afraid to deal with the other person's inability to use knowledge for good, meaning they're being an asshole, as plainly as I can put it. All right. They're bringing up stuff about the other person that the other person doesn't want to be brought up because maybe they feel some type of way about it. An example would be that you have one person who's trying to lose weight and the other person in the relationship is always like, you sure you want to eat those fries? Aren't you trying to lose weight? And they're making it sound like they're being nice about it, but they're being mean about it. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the shadow side of those two. Someone's being controlling, someone's being demanding. Someone can't defend themselves, clearly. They literally can't. They don't know how to defend themselves. Maybe they shut down emotionally. Maybe maybe it's the opposite of it, because the shadow side of a divine child, or just the child archetype, let me say it that way, can be like the little kid in the candy store having a tantrum. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, someone's just being self-destructive or just trying to, in a weird way, for some reason, they're trying to destroy the relationship, and the other person's exhausted of picking up the pieces and trying to fix the relationship. Uranus, Venus, Pluto. Wow, all planets. Are you serious? And Pisces. Cancer on the bottom. So those two signs they can resonate if that resonates, but I'm not really taking it like that right now. Radical change, give and receive love, find value and see beauty, transform, and then intimacy, intuition, and compassion. If someone's being self-destructive, the fact that I have Uranus, Pluto, and Pisces, they could be an addict. They could be dealing with mental health issues. They could be dealing with, if Venus is here as an issue, maybe they're dealing with sexual issues or intimacy-related issues. Maybe they're dealing with, like they're a gambler, like they spend too much money, or they have terrible, what's it called? Shopping therapy or whatever, where they spend too much money because it makes them feel better if they just spend their money. This relationship needs to go through a Plutonian energy. Like, it needs to be completely transformed. The Exorcist archetype is out, meaning somebody in the relationship is trying to exorcise the relationship, meaning they're trying to heal it in a very drastic way. It's kind of like this relationship is at the point where it's all or nothing. This relationship is at the point where it needs a complete 180. Too much sacrifice from one person or both people, I don't know. But there's just too much sacrifice. You have the Queen and then Cancer archetype on the bottom. So yeah, someone's being overly protective maybe, or someone's being suffocating the other person, and the other person's acting crazy because they don't like to be tied down, or they don't like to be controlled. Somebody feels crazy though. Like they feel like they're gonna rip their own hair out. Like Uranus is here, schizophrenia card, exhaustion, the Exorcist, Pisces, Pluto. Yeah, someone's feeling like they're losing their mind because they don't know how to either fix the relationship, or they just don't know what to say or do anymore, which kind of is self-explanatory, right? At that point, it's kind of like, well, drastic, radical change, or we move on. I mean, Pluto, Hades, the underworld, the planet of death and rebirth. Okay? You even had Chiron. You even had Chiron underneath Cancer, and I'm going to keep that out. Hurt and heal. Chiron is the servant of sacrifice. I mean, look at his story. Yeah, well. Oof. Interesting. So, there's commitment here, real commitment. This is like a marriage, having kids together, having a family together, living life together. Sure, there's love, but but something needs to change. Someone's going through a custody battle. Could be with children. I'm just going to throw that out. Someone's going through a legal matter, a legal issue. Could be who gets the house. I'm going to be honest. Who gets the car? Who gets the dogs? Who gets the... Yeah, there's something here. And somebody's giving somebody else an ultimatum for sure. Someone's saying, look, if we don't work this out, I'm leaving. I'm done. We're breaking up. I'm going to be single. I don't want to hang on to this anymore. I don't want to hang on to this fantasy idea of this being a happily ever after, because it's not. Someone's about to do something dramatic. Because the hand of God, okay, the universe, their higher power, their inner self, whatever, is telling them you got to do something. It's been too much of the same old thing. You have the student archetype and then the student archetype. So I'm going to reread the shadow. Arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge. Unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. Do you know what that means? That means that this is somebody who says a lot of things, but they don't do it. They don't walk the walk. They just talk the talk. And if they're arrogant about it, meaning they're cocky about it, meaning that they feel like they know what they're talking about, but they don't know what they're talking about. It could be one or two things. Maybe they're purposely or intentionally doing that, or they genuinely think that they know what they're talking about, and the other person hasn't cleared it up for them. So because then you have to understand that there needs to be positive and clear communication between the two of you. Neither one of you can read each other's minds. You have to talk about things, even if they're painful, even if they're hurtful, even if it's bringing up shadow shit. It has to be talked about. It can't just be swept under the rug, and you can't pretend and play house. Something needs to change. This is a very rough reading. It's only going to resonate with maybe one person. Maybe. 3 of Pentacles. I'll be surprised if it's 2. Strength and Page of Swords. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like the whole, I know what conversation we need to have, but I need the strength to say it. I need the power to say it. Once the air is cleared, okay? Once the crap, the muck, the Plutonian side of things, this is Pluto, the ugly stuff, the things that people don't want to admit, the things that people don't want to see in a relationship, what gets done behind closed doors, that's what needs to be talked about. That's where the air needs to be cleared. This is ugly, ugly, heavy, dark stuff that needs to be cleared. That's why it's the Exorcist. Do you get what I'm saying? 4 of Pentacles. 9 of Swords. Yeah, somebody's hanging on, right? Crying themselves to sleep every single night. Or every conversation ends in pain. No, well then honest, truthful, and loving. That's why the Lovers is on the bottom. Nurturing, caring communication needs to happen. Not an argument. Not like going into the conversation expecting an argument. Because if you go into a conversation expecting an argument, then guess what? You're going to have an argument, right? Then you're going to have an argument. No. Okay, hold on. My cat. Hold on. You can't go into these conversations and then just huff and puff before it happens and then be like, oh, well, I already know this is not going to work. I already know this is not going to, we're not going to, oh, you're bringing that up again? Ugh. It's like that. Someone's really, really hurt. Someone's really, really hurt. And they're stressed because there's a lot of investment. Like, you live together, you have kids together, something like that. You work together, maybe you own a business together. I don't know. But Nine of Pentacles is the moon. I almost feel like someone secretly has that ultimatum that I was talking about, where they're like, if things don't change, I'm out. Someone's definitely hiding their feelings, and they need to talk about it. They need to get these feelings out. I want this. I want that. They're desiring it. They have a hunger for it. It's raw. It's instinctual. It's almost like somebody feels like they fell in love too fast. Or, yeah, but someone's definitely being cunning. They're planning. They're strategizing. Then there's another energy here of somebody just wanting to start over. Whether it's with this person or not, they're wanting to start over. Both people need to be clear on what they want out of life, as far as what do you want 20 years from now? How do you want our family home life to look like? How do you want our marriage to look like, if this is marriage? You need more love, you need more caring, you need more nurturing, you need more patience, you need more generosity in this relationship. And maybe some time, maybe some space. Sometimes that helps if you just get some space away from each other. Take a week away, Really evaluate what it is that is the issue. Both of you give each other homework, right? Maybe, well, I don't have it on here, but maybe some therapy, some counseling. You have a history together. At the foundation of the relationship, there is love. It's just somewhere along the way, something got really confusing, got really muddled up, got really foggy, and it's just turning into a lot of fighting and a lot of crying. If you're not going to have loving and understanding conversations, then also the cards are saying, then don't even. Come back to it. Get the space. And then come back to it, because nothing's going to be fixed or healed unless both people involved are here. Supportive, right? Honestly, I know this is going to sound crazy, but maybe you need a vacation together, actually. It could be the complete opposite of that for somebody. Maybe the stress of life is affecting this relationship so much that it's forcing somebody to just be more demanding, more controlling, more forceful. You need teamwork. You need collaboration. You need to be partners. You need to be partners in things. You need to dream together, too. There's something here about dreaming together, dreaming bigger, not limiting yourselves. You have choices, you have options to do things differently. It's a matter of how and when. I hope this helped. I truly do. Thank you for tuning in. Again, if you want a personal reading, my website is in the description box. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.